Hello everybody, my name's Bob McGurl from the charity For Lewis. I'm just going to talk to you today about our experience and why we started up the For Lewis charity back in 2010. If I could take you back to 2009, my daughter Kirsty, who was 21 at the time, she was second year at university, and she said, "Dad, I've got something to tell you." And she said, "I'm pregnant." And I did what all good dads do. And I started throwing things around the house and, really angry about it. And, your career's gone and all those sorts of things. But eventually I knew we were going to have a new baby and a first grandchild. So we were very, very excited about that. And at 20 weeks, it was confirmed she was having a boy. And she named him Lewis straight away. And being a big Sunderland football fan, I was very excited about that. And I was thinking he's going to come to match with his granddad. And straight away, we're already making plans for that special day. And we got to, I think it was around about the 6th of December. And Kirsty was starting to get pains. I was at work and she called me and she said, "Dad, you're going to be a granddad this afternoon." And Kirsty, with it being her first child, thought there were labour pains. But in actual fact, probably at that time, Lewis had already died. She had a placenta abruption and, had to go into hospital thinking she was going to have a child. And she was scanned and the doctor was asked to come and have a look. And he wasn't great, if I'm being honest. His terminology was poor. And he kind of just said, "Look, baby's died." And he just walked out the room. And the midwife chased after him. And that left my daughter, my wife Tracy, and Michael, Kirsty's partner, in a room. And they just fell to the floor. The trauma, it was almost as if somebody's just opened the door and threw a grenade in and shut the door. And we were left to it. My daughter sat bolt right in the bed and she said to her mum, make him breathe. And as a grandparent, for the first time in our life, we weren't able to help Kirsty, our daughter. We just couldn't. And an arm around her wasn't going to cut it. And, we had a phone call. My wife had to make a phone call to me to tell me the news. Back then there was no quiet room, nowhere to go. And because she was so distressed, they actually put her into a linen cupboard to make that phone call. And that in itself was traumatic. I'm talking to you now about something that happened 14 years ago. And that leaves an imprint in your head. And you remember all of those things. You remember everything of the day. And I remember Tracy calling me and saying, "He's gone." I was like, "What did you say?" She was like, "He's died." And I said, "Tracy, I don't understand what you're talking about." Now, I've got to be honest, I did understand. I heard what she said, but I just couldn't process that because it was alien. What is going on? And I said, "Look, I'm coming straight through." And she said, "We've gone home, so we'll just see you there." And we went home, and it was a dark December night, and I've gone into the house, and Kirsty's sitting there with my wife Tracy, just hugging each other on the sofa, and I joined them and just give them this group hug type of thing. And we had to go back to hospital, obviously, to deliver Lewis. And I remember thinking to myself, can we have a section? Can we just get this done? And the advice we got was, it's better if she gives birth naturally. And I just thought, how brutal is that? To be able to go through a labour. And of course you will have a baby at the end of it, but just a baby that's asleep. And that was really, really difficult for us. And, we went back to the hospital 2 days later to actually start the induction. And there was no bereavement suite then. They just put us into a room that was furthest away. And the first thing I recall seeing was a poster on the wall just to my right as I walked through. And it had best practice, breastfeed your baby. And I thought, we've suffered enough. It was almost like the knife had been put on my chest and then turned. And I get it. It's just part of your workspace and you wouldn't understand, necessarily realize it's there. but to us, it meant everything. The midwife was amazing. She was great, and I wasn't doing very, very well. I was really struggling, sitting in the corner, just seeing all this unfold, just quiet. And the midwife was called Judith Holland, fantastic, as all healthcare professionals are. And she turned to me and she just said, "Do you want to come outside?" I was like, "Yeah, what have I done?" And I followed her outside into the corridor, just her and I, and she just said, "Do you want to have a cup of tea with us?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like that." And we've gone to the staff room and she's put the kettle on and she said, "Ask me anything you like. Have you got it wrong? Could he really be alive?" Because I was desperate. And I just said, "Yeah, no, we generally get that bit right." And I think looking back now, it was 14 years ago, and I've never forgot that, for me, an act of kindness, because I was really struggling. And I don't know if she looked at me and thought, I need to give him a breather because his daughter's going to need him in an hour or so, or whatever, but I'll never forget that. And for me, it's attention to detail. It's about you guys doing the smallest things can make the biggest impression on families like us, because we're in such a trauma that we just need guidance, we need help, we need support. And I know it's unfair on you, but we are looking to you to help us, to guide us through that. So you have a really, really important role to play. It was also suggested that we could take baby home, and we talked about it as a family and said, "Yeah, we'd like to do that." And there was no cuddle cots then. It was December, so keep your doors open and windows, keep them as cold as you can. And we took him home, and we only had 4 hours. He started to change, and it looked like a little tear coming out of his eye, and it was a little drop of blood. And I remember my wife dabbing it with a bit of tissue, and that she keeps today as a keepsake. And I know a lot of other families do the same. And we had to take him back to the hospital, our final goodbye, and we put him into his car seat. And as I said before, I'm a big Sunderland fan, and my hope was to be able to take him to the football. And I just said to my daughter, "Can I take him to the Stadium of Light on the way back?" She was like, "Yeah, of course you can." And we've done that. We've drove to the ground, and I've sat outside that main entrance, and I told him how rubbish we were. But I was creating a moment for myself, a memory that nobody would ever take away from us. And that was helped by healthcare professionals like yourselves, who were able to support us as a family. And that really helped us on our journey. So I'm so, so grateful. You guys are absolutely brilliant the work that you do. And don't ever underestimate the gravity of the support that you're giving to us. That really, really helps. So it's about creating options. It's about making sure that families understand that what is available to them, and you might say, "I want to take baby home," and the families might say, "No, I don't want to do that." But you've planted a seed, and that no might not mean no. It might just mean no, not right now. So just revisit that and just say, have you had thought any more about that? And they may still say no, but you've tried your best. But they might just say a yes, because it's not a rehearsal. So we have to get it right the first time, because we can't go back. So it's really, really important work that we do that. Lewis was the most beautifulest thing we've ever seen. We are very, very passionate about that. And it was kind of, how do we turn our life around? And it was about trying to support Kirsty, really, if I'm being honest. We didn't set out to start a charity, but we wanted to give the hospital, which was Sunderland Royal Hospital, a gift to say thank you. We were given the memories of, or momentums of, a lock of his hair in a poly bag and a smudged handprint. And that's just not enough, because we need so much. And so Kirsty and our mum created 10 memory boxes to go to Sunderland Royal Hospital. I know you'll have some of those today to have a look at. And, they are being carefully put together with a lot of love. And we have a factory in Sunderland now where volunteers, and you're all invited as well, of course, if you want to, but you can come and make the memory boxes. Last year we did 20,600 memory boxes into the NHS for free. but we can't do that on our own. If you do come to us in Sunderland, we would be more than happy to welcome you here. And I must say that we will get you to make memory boxes, and that would be the nicest thing you could do, because we would give you the tools to create something for that is very special to a family. And basically, the next time that would be touched after you've made that would be by a family who's going through the same trauma that we went through. And whether that be a stillbirth or a neonatal death or any loss of a child, it really, really means a lot. A memory box is priceless, of course. We all know that. I've just had a family who were telling me about a memory box that they have, and mum opened it on a morning and she goes about her daily business. And then on a night time, she closes it because she said she's putting her baby to bed. And that's the impact of a memory box. But not only that, let's remember that it's a good tool for you guys as well to be able to open a conversation, because that can be difficult. But you may be able to sit down with a memory box and talk about all the items that are in there and why they are so, so important. For example, all our memory boxes come with 2 teddy bears. And the reason being is, like I said before, I'm a big Sunderland fan, and I bought Lewis a Sunderland teddy bear with a Sunderland shirt on. And it was really important that I knew girls and boys knew that he was a Sunderland fan and he didn't follow that black and white lot up the road. So it was really important. But when it was time to say goodbye, I picked up the bear and I could smell Lewis on the bear. And I said to my wife, I can smell him. And she was like, well, you keep it. I just said, well, I can't, because I bought it for him. And I said, you're going to have to wait. And I ran down the stairs and I drove back to the Stadium of Light and I bought him exactly the same teddy bear. And I came back and I said, there you go, son. This one's yours and this one's mine. And that's why we'd always encourage families to share the teddy bears and give one to baby or the child and then swap them when it's time to say goodbye. And the reason I'm telling you that story is because if you are finding it difficult to talk to families, you can talk about saying, I've heard Lewis's granddad and this is why we do this. It just helps you with supporting that. As a charity, we're doing lots of work here now. There's nothing that we won't do as long as it's to do with bereavement. So we're doing numerous types of memory boxes. We've just launched our Welsh box, for example, which has been translated into Welsh. We do boxes for early miscarriage. We do little cribs now for families if they want to take their babies home to bury them at home if they're pre-24 weeks, which you can do legally now. And we also do the Ibrahim's gift packs for Muslim families. So we can facilitate that as well. Obviously, we do not only just memory boxes, we do the cuddle cots and cuddle blankets. There are 1,200 cuddle cots in the country at the moment, and we're proud to say that we've donated a third of all cuddle cots, so around about 420 units. And it's a great product because it's able to allow families to spend more time. And we were robbed of that. If we'd had a cuddle cot, we would have had more time with Lewis. So, a really important piece of kit to be able to take babies and children home as well, of course. We also do a cuddle blanket now, which is for older children. They're quite expensive, £5,500, but they create the same facility, and it's a non-clinical way of keeping the babies cool and slow down the deterioration to help them, to have, build up those special moments and precious moments for families. So we do those. We also provide training days, likes of what we're doing today, and we'll go around the country and do that sort of thing, free of charge again, of course. So we do that. We also provide grants as well, if it's to do with, supporting families. We've just done somebody has asked for a grant to become a yoga teacher for their rainbow clinics. So mums who are very anxious about a second pregnancy, it's to help them for their mindfulness and their well-being. So we do some of those. And I think it's really important to remember is that as a charity, our priority is for families. Of course it is, but we are mindful of the pressures that healthcare professionals are under. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate everything you guys do. I do know that, it's really difficult for you guys at the moment and the pressures are horrendous that you're under. But I just want you to know that, not just me and my wife here and Kirsty, but all the team here really, really appreciate all the work that you are doing, because you are very, very special people. Not just to us, but all the families that you're dealing with. So, please keep up the good work. Please keep up what you're doing. I know the guys are going to talk a bit about the memory boxes that we'll have here today to show you. But thank you so much for listening to me. If you need to get in touch with us, please do so. I've got the website, the Footloose website. Just drop us a line if you want to come and volunteer for us. We're more than happy to do that. Please keep in touch, and thank you very much for listening to us, and I hope I see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.